Good morning. Welcome to Miss Long's first grade class. And this morning, I will be introducing you to a new word that we have yet to learn in this course. The word will be partition. And when I say partition, we often think of, it sounds very close to petition, like we're petitioning something. But we're learning about partitioning. Partitioning shapes is what we're gonna go over today and what I'll be introducing you all to. This lesson is a geometry lesson. We're dealing with shapes. As you all know, that I often tell you, when you think of geometry, you think of shapes. When we speak of algebra, we're thinking of numbers. And although both of them are math, geometry is going over shapes. You're working with shapes. We are using math. It is still considered math, but it's just totally different versus shapes and numbers. So when we're going over partitioning is breaking it into parts. It's, making a circle into different parts, different sections. So let's just say we're gonna partition a circle. I'm gonna make sure you guys can see. And it's not a perfect circle, but it's a circle. So if we're gonna partition a circle, we can break it into parts. And what I mean by break it into parts, if we just draw a line right down the middle, we partitioned that circle. We broke it up into two parts. Do you know what those parts are called? Halves. Those parts are called halves. And either we can stop here, we can partition the circle here, or we can continue going. Do you know what we have partitioned the circle to now? Fourths. So first we had half because we had two. And when you have two halves, that makes a whole. And we'll get into that shortly. But here's fourth. Well, that's a half of the top. This is a half, that's a half of the bottom. But when we're talking about the entire circle, now that we have four, it's gonna be 1/4, 1/4, 1/4. This is also known as fractions. And I'm gonna scoot it up so that you can see it a little closer. So this is partitioning, breaking it into parts. So we're gonna talk about equal shares, meaning when I say equal shares, that means the same amount, the exact same amount. So let's talk about equal shares in geometry. So I just did a circle, now I'm gonna do a square. Equal shares, if I go down the middle, that's an equal share. That is equal. So now I have 1/2 here, 1/2 here. And let's get into halves. 2 halves equals 1 whole. So, for instance, erase this. Here we have a Hershey bar, just a Hershey. And you have your little brother, and your brother decides he wants a piece of Hershey. And like most moms, which I do too, I would say, give your brother half. So let's give your brother half of your Hershey bar. You're gonna have half and he's gonna have half. So we're gonna split that right down the middle. That's a half. So you have this half for your brother and you have this half for you. But when you put it together, you have a whole. So here was your whole Hershey bar, but we split it right down the middle. Now we have equal shares. Equal. You have half and he has half. You have the same amount. Equal shares, meaning the same amount. So now, let's go back to your Hershey bar. You have your Hershey. But now, not only is it just your little brother there, but you have two cousins there. Well, like most moms would say, give everyone a piece. You all share it. So, we're gonna share this Hershey bar, but we're gonna do an equal share. So we're gonna partition this candy bar. We're gonna break it into pieces. So it's 4. It's 4 of you guys, okay? We have 4. It's you, your brother, your little cousin, and your big cousin. So 1 for the big cousin, 1 for the little cousin, 1 for the brother, and 1 for you. So here you have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is what you call fourths. Fourths. So equal shares. You all have the same amount. You took a whole and you broke it into 4. 4. That's where we're talking about fourths. So today we're going to be learning about halves and fourths. And halves is when you just split it into 2. Cut it right down the middle and both sides are equal. Those are halves. So if I take, let's take a, let's take a, what kind of candy do you guys like? What are your favorite candies? I know there's some out there. I don't hear any. Let's take a birthday cake. Let's take a birthday cake. So here we have the birthday cake. But mom says you cannot have that whole birthday cake to yourself. You have to give your brother half. When we're getting halves, when we're doing halves, what are we doing? What are we doing? If I want to give my brother half of the birthday cake, what do I need to do? Exactly, cut it right down the middle. So, right down the middle. That's your birthday cake. You have gave your brother half of your birthday cake. This is a half. A half. And when you have a half and a half, what is that equal to? 1 whole. 1. 1. So we're gonna go over some halves and I'm gonna ask you guys. Is this square a half? This square, is it a half? No, it's not, because it is not right down the middle. They do not, it does not have equal shares. It is more over to one side, which means you would have more and your brother would have less. It is not equal. It is not equal. That is not a half. What about your triangle up here? Is that half? No, it's not. It's not a half. But let's change this triangle. What if we go this way? Is it the same amount on each side? It is. Each side looks the same. Each side has the same, it's equal. So this is, here's a half and here's a half. What about the circle? Yeah, it's supposed to be half. So you have a half here and a half here, which makes a whole. What about this one? It is. Yes, it is. Okay, now, how can we switch this half to a fourth? How can we switch the 2 into 4? Anybody have any suggestions? And do anybody know how we can switch this 2 into 4? We can draw a line there. Exactly. Exactly. So here we have 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is dealing with fourths. This would be dealing with halves. So, again, I will be handing out worksheets based on halves, wholes, and fourths. And I will come around also with manipulatives. Which you often see. I will come around with manipulatives so that you will have a visual tool to help you when you're dealing with halves and wholes. So again, I will be coming around to assist everyone with the worksheets. If you have any questions, please raise your hand. And thank you all so much for tuning in for this lesson on partitioning shapes into halves and to fourths. Thank you all and have a great day. See you, and thanks for joining Miss Long's first grade class, where we are very thrilled about learning. And learning here is fun. So we enjoy the learning and we enjoy sharing all of our lessons and our new ideas with you guys. So thank you. Thank you again.